There are very few people on the planet that have not heard of Star Wars, and I mean the planet. The book isn't just for Star Wars fans. Most people on this planet reference Star Wars or understand references to Star Wars wherever they go. So people will see, if they're interested in the arts at all, what it's like to be in something as big, not just in the movies, but the phenomenon, to see how it's come into the pop culture of this planet, and to hear somebody who has been there on every single step of that way. But then, of course, it is also for the fans who now get a peek behind, well, you know, inside the mask, all right. But maybe they've heard some of the stories before, because at a convention or whatever, I will have stood there and said, and that's maybe why they're quite strong in my memory, that I have rehearsed them over the years, not every day, but enough to make them relive constantly in my mind. And then things they've never heard before, and will be surprised and possibly troubled occasionally. Really, is that what happened? People have always said, they wanted to hear it in my voice. So, and when I come to read it, I thought, what's difficult? Yet it's my thoughts. It was like reading something else. Fortunately, I had an extraordinary director, Richard Hughes, absolutely extraordinary young man. He's an actor, but he's immensely skilled at saying, yeah, let's do that again with a bit more of this, a bit more of that. It was me alone in a sound box, which after 5 days, you feel like the prisoner of Zenda or whatever. It's like, get me out of here. And immediately the next day I was flying to America, so, one had to get on with it. So I'm alone in this box. On a film set, you are never alone, believe me. You might be on your own in the scene, but behind the camera facing you is 100, 200 people. One of the aspects of being in this carapace, this mask, is that it's quite hard to relate to the other actors, even to the director who would be speaking off here, and I go, come and stand in front of me, because I can only see like that. And yes, to be honest, I can't relax and have a coffee and a quick chat with Mark Hamill or whoever who's standing there in nice floppy clothes. And when I'm not actually performing, I often stand very still because conserving my energy for when they say action, and I sort of bounce into 3PO life. And so people can really quite naturally, and certainly at the beginning, regard me as an object, something immobile, impersonal on the set. And yes, it does point up one of the signal difficulties of playing a character in that kind of costume, that you are not there. Because at episode 7, when JJ asked me to be in it, I said yes, and he said, do you just want to do the voice? I said, no, quite right, but I want a new suit. And so they very carefully made it 3D printing. And bits of it work much better, bits still problematic. But the best thing is the face can come on and off in 3 seconds, and therefore I can relax and breathe and all that kind of thing. I had an experience very early on this one, where there's Daisy and Oscar and John, and we're doing this sort of four-handed scene, and we're rehearsing, and they're talking very sincerely and quietly about this problem that we have, it's a dramatic thing. And then 3PO bounces in like this, he's like way over the top character, and I suddenly, possibly for the first time, it really hit me, the different acting styles, that totally sort of real, almost Jacobian, and I'm totally pantomime. And yet it works, isn't it amazing? 3PO is an object, he's a household thing, a washing machine, a microwave. And 3PO is this machine, but it depends who he's put up against or put with, If it's with Luke Skywalker, it's total loyalty, devotion, very straightforward affection and liking and respect. With R2-D2, total unspoken love, total irritation, whatever. And then, for instance, with Han Solo, a completely different dynamic with Harrison Ford, absolutely magical. Working with Oscar Isaac in his latest film, The Rise of Skywalker, wow, adorable, absolutely adorable. You'll see it. And these are things I talk about in the book, the relationships with other actors that, sometimes things can get a bit edgy on the set. Everybody's trying not to be nervous. Everybody's trying not to be conscious of the dollar bills that are going through that camera every moment. You're fluffing the lines or falling over or making a mistake. So people are doing their thing, hopefully whilst respecting everybody else on the set. Hello, I'm Anthony Daniels, and to my surprise, I find that I've written a book. Who'd have thought? It's my memoirs of being in and around the Star Wars phenomenon. And you can buy it. And you can download it on Audible in the audio version. And it's not just me, it's also J.J. Abrams, who's recorded his foreword. So, there you are, Audible. Download me now. I am C-3PO, the inside story. Who knew?